Hello. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and your family, and tell us a little bit about some of the things that you were dealing with prior to becoming a patient at Perkins Family Wellness.
Sure. My name is Hallie Bard, and I've been a patient here for about 4.5 years. My whole family has. When we moved to the area, my youngest son, who is now 4.5, was an infant, and he was having some trouble with his neck. I noticed his left side was a little bit stiff. He didn't have full range of motion. So I brought him in, and it was the most beautiful experience that I've seen, other than seeing my children for the first time. So Dr. Perkins checked him and adjusted him, and in that visit, within the first few minutes of getting adjusted, my baby was able to turn to the left for the first time in his little life, and the look on his tiny face was priceless. And I stood there and cried in the office because I was so thankful that he was able to get such immediate and gentle relief. So he's been a patient since he was practically born, and he loves it. He knows that every time he comes, he feels better when he leaves. And all of my children know that. I have an almost 13-year-old son, an almost 7-year-old daughter, and a 4.5-year-old son as well. And we're all fans of upper cervical chiropractics. We were in a car accident. Our family was in a car accident several years ago, and we came regularly after that, and that really helped make sure that our bodies were in the right place so that our bodies didn't become stiff and achy, and some of the stiffness and achiness that had happened from the accident were able to get fixed. I've had some neck problems, and those have been greatly relieved from upper cervical care. Most recently, our kids were roughhousing, as most kids do, and even though the parents say, you need to be more gentle, somebody is going to get hurt, they were having a lot of fun. And so my youngest son, sure enough, was crying and got his head knocked, and he seemed fine all day, and then the next day he woke up and he was crying, saying that his bones felt like they weren't fitting with his head. And the fact that he has that body awareness to be able to understand and vocalize what that feeling is pretty tremendous, and I really don't think that would come into play had he not been raised in the chiropractics. So he understands what that feels like when his body is out of line, and I think that's a gift, really, to, at a young age, have that awareness and know what it feels like for your body to be aligned and how good that feels, and then also to know when that's off. So we brought him in right away, and he's great. It was all taken care of in a visit, and he's feeling great and back to roughhousing. So I guess if anybody has any questions or why I would suggest, and I do suggest upper cervical specifically, I've had different chiropractics my whole life, and I found that this specific type of chiropractics has really worked for my family. We tend to hold our adjustments longer. The idea of it makes more sense to me, that you start at the top and your body gets to work on its own to align itself after some help. I think that's a natural and beautiful way to go about being aligned and to go about healing too. You get a little bit of help, and then your body is able to do the work that it needs to do to get itself where it needs to be. So it works for us, and it's been a really great gift to our family.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.